Hi everyone and welcome back. Do you have privacy or is privacy dead? I mean, really think about it. In today's day and age when everything in our lives is run by technology, do you really have privacy? In this episode, we'll explore the legal framework surrounding this right to privacy and some tips on how you can protect your privacy today. Let's discuss the right to privacy in the digital age. So what exactly is this right to privacy? The right to privacy is usually referred to as an individual's right to seclusion or his right to be free from public interference. In other words, privacy is this right to keep certain aspects of our life and certain information about our lives away from the public eye. It is the right to be left alone and to control our personal information. Alan Westin says that privacy is the claim of individuals, groups, or institutions to determine for themselves when, how, and to what extent information about them is communicated to others. Privacy is a fundamental right essential for autonomy and to protect human dignity. And it is the foundation on which a lot of other human rights are based. The right to privacy is even enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in Article 12. In addition, most regional treaties also recognize this right to privacy, like the European Convention on Human Rights in Article 8. This right to privacy is also included in the constitutions of many countries. In fact, according to Wikipedia, over 150 countries recognize this right to privacy in their constitutions. So in most countries, this right to privacy is expressly recognized as a human right or a fundamental right. But even in countries that it's not expressly provided for, this right to privacy is protected in one way or the other. Most countries have also recently passed laws or regulations to protect personal data, like the GDPR in the European Union and the Personal Data Protection Act of Sri Lanka. In addition, this right to privacy may also be protected by the common law of a country as a tort or delict under the law. Usually, under delict law, violating a person's privacy is a wrong which damages their dignity and their reputation. This right to privacy has become more important yet harder to protect in today's day and age. This is because we cannot guarantee the protection of our private data. Today, we freely share every aspect of our lives online, from our financial data, to our medical data, to our buying habits, to our location and whereabouts, and of course, we share our thoughts, pictures, and videos on social media networks. This data is constantly being collected, so it creates a unique challenge to protect our private data because there's always the possibility that this data can be shared or it can be leaked. We also have to deal with issues like being under constant surveillance by CCTV cameras and the threat of our devices being hacked, which will give these hackers access to our locations, private conversations, images, and all kinds of sensitive information. As a response to this data collection by service providers and the risks associated with hacking, the world over we are seeing new laws being passed to try and protect our privacy. The best example for this is the new wave of data protection laws and laws related to cyber and computer crimes being passed the world over. You can check out my video on data protection laws in the description below. And if you do enjoy this kind of content, please do consider liking the video because it really does help this video reach more people. Getting back to our discussion, of course there are limitations on how much these laws can protect your privacy. So what can you do to protect your privacy, especially in the digital age? One of the first things that you must do is be aware of your rights. This means learning about the right to privacy in your country, especially the loopholes of that law. Learning these loopholes will help you understand how people might try to violate your privacy. The second thing is to be more selective and careful about the information that you share with others, especially the information you share online. Be mindful about who's asking for your information. How trustworthy is that person who's asking for your information, and how important is that information that you are about to share? Now, I understand that we can't always be sure about the people who are asking for our information, and sometimes we may need to use the services that they're offering, so we have to give them our information. One thing I do in these situations is I have a different email account which is separate from my main email, which I use to sign into and subscribe to services. Now, this email account doesn't have any of my personal information, so the risk of my data being hacked is minimal. And as an added bonus, all the spam emails that these services sent me get collected in that inbox and don't clutter my main inbox. On the other hand, you can use a service like Tempbox, which will allow you to create a temporary email to access these sites. Another way to protect your privacy is to be aware about the privacy settings in your devices. For example, when you give an app certain permissions on your phone, do you stop to think what information is this app seeking access to? And more importantly, does this app need access to this information? Like, for example, does an online retailer or a game need access to your camera or your photos? Learn a little bit about these privacy settings on your devices and change them at least now so that you can stop these apps and services getting unnecessary access to all your personal information. There's also a lot of other things that you can do, like getting used to using a VPN on untrusted networks, avoiding or limiting the use of public Wi-Fi networks, using stronger passwords and not using the same password for everything, and using ad blockers, etc. Now, while your right to privacy is essential, there may be instances where it might conflict with certain other interests like national security or public safety. For example, governments may argue that they need to collect and analyze personal data to protect national security. They may use surveillance to monitor potential terrorist activities or cyber attacks. However, this can lead to concerns of government overreach and violations of privacy. Further, companies may argue they need to collect certain personal data because that's the only way they can improve their services which they provide to you. But this can create concerns about data breaches and misuse of personal data. So balancing this right to privacy with other interests is a very complex issue, and it needs careful consideration by all parties involved. One way to address this challenge is to create a clear legal framework on the right to privacy while also taking into account other legitimate interests as well. Another way is to use technology itself to protect privacy, like using things like encryption to transfer data. In conclusion, the burden of protecting our right to privacy, especially today, falls on the government, the tech companies, and us, the citizens. I genuinely think that we are at the height of the debate of what privacy is and how it can be protected. And how we choose to answer this question will go a long way in shaping our world in the years to come and for the future generations. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you found it interesting and somewhat eye-opening. And do subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'll see you in another episode. Take care. Bye.